The most common belief among learners is that they have a weak memory. But in most cases, memory is not the problem. The problem is the learning method. What many learners don't realize is that the way they study never pushes the information into the long term memory. It only keeps it active for a short period of time. So when the information fades, they assume that they forgot everything. But in reality, the brain was never guided to store the information. If you want something to stay in your memory for a long time, your brain needs two things: active retrieval and spaced repetition. When you are involved in active retrieval, you must actively pull the stored information out of your mind. When you can pull it out, you confirm that the memory is being strengthened. And when practicing spaced repetition, you must revisit the information at the right time before the information begins to fade away from your mind. Without them, learning is temporary. With active retrieval and spaced repetition, memory becomes stable and reliable. Today, I want to show you not just what these methods are, but why your brain responds to them so strongly. Many people confuse exposure with learning. They read more, they watch more, they highlight more, but then the brain doesn't strengthen memory through such inputs alone. It strengthens memory when you try to bring the information back from your mind. This is actually the active retrieval. When you close your book and force yourself to recall a concept, your brain is forced to rebuild a pathway. Here, the brain reconstructs the neural pathway to that specific information. During this effortful struggle, something real happens inside the brain. The connections between brain cells become more strong. The neural pathways that carry the information become clearer and easier to travel. And as a result, recall becomes easier and the memory becomes more stable and durable over time. The distinction is very simple. Reading shows you the map and the retrieval is walking the path. Reading is like flying over a forest in a helicopter. From above, everything looks clear. You see the trees, you recognize the landmarks, and you feel, I know everything. But this is where the brain misleads you. Recognition creates a feeling of knowing without having the real access because your feet have not touched the ground. The moment the helicopter leaves or the moment the book is closed, you are lost in the forest with only a vague memory of what you learned. But active retrieval is something different. It's like landing in the forest and walking through the forest. When you try to recall without looking at the book, your brain is forced to find the path again. At first, you struggle, you hesitate, and you take wrong turns. But this is not the failure. This is how the brain learns to navigate ideas. Each time you recall, the path becomes clearer, the route becomes easier, the signal travels very fast. What was once more effortful becomes natural to you, and the learning becomes easier for you, and you will enjoy learning. At this point, the learning begins to change. You no longer search for the path now, you move through it. You reach the idea quickly, without any hesitation. This is actually the fluency. Now the main path is stable. You start seeing connections. New ideas don't remain separate. They attach to what is already there in your brain. This is actually the deep learning. The forest is no longer a set of paths now. It becomes a connected system for you. You don't just remember ideas. You understand how they relate. You can move across concept without getting lost. You can connect one idea with the another idea, one concept with the another concept. Now you are no longer following the paths, you are shaping them. You are not just remembering, you are building a structure inside your brain. This is the difference between recognizing an idea and understanding an idea, memorizing an idea and mastering an idea. So you are no longer a visitor now, you become an architect of your own memory. And the second principle is the spaced repetition. Spaced repetition means returning to what you already learned, and you have to revisit the information at the right intervals. When you revisit information after a gap, the brain is forced to build the memory. That building is what strengthens learning. Your brain is constantly asking, is this worth keeping? If you learn something once and never return to it, the brain treats it as an unimportant information and gradually weakens the memory, and the information will be deleted from your brain. But when you come back to it at spaced interval, you signal to the brain, this matters a lot and this is very important for you. And the brain responds by strengthening the connections. This is where spaced repetition becomes powerful. It interrupts this natural fading of memory and strengthens the memory. Instead of repeating immediately, you return to the material after a gap before the memory begins to weaken, and you revisit at increasing intervals after one day, after few days. At regular interval, you have to revisit the information that you have stored in your memory. Each time you return to the idea, your brain has to work harder to rebuild it. The process triggers memory reconsolidation. When you recall an old idea, the old idea becomes momentarily plastic, and the old idea is weakened for a period of time. And at that time, the new information is added to the old information. The newly added information reshapes the old idea and you get deeper insights on the concept. Every time you rebuild the memory, the connection becomes stronger and the memory becomes more stable. You should know that the brain is not just evolved to read, the brain is designed to navigate space and recognize patterns. So that's the reason why when you learn something, you have to use the same text while learning. So when you learn from the same text, or when you highlight important ideas in a text, especially using different colors, something more happens there. Your brain does not store only the concept, it also stores images of the page. The idea and the visual patterns are processed in different parts of the brain. One system handles the meaning and the other system handles the image. Now the memory has two supports, the concept and the image. If one is weak, the other helps you to retrieve it. This helps you to remember where the information was written on the page, how it was highlighted in the page, or what are the ideas surrounded the specific idea. This makes memory stronger and retrieval easier for you. But then you have to remember, this works only when you combine with active retrieval. Without recall, without active retrieval, highlighting becomes passive. Only with active retrieval, it becomes a powerful guide. You should know that learning is not just about how much you read, it is about how you use time and structure what you learn. So don't ask, have I read enough today? Ask, did I recall it? Did I return at the right time? Did I connect it clearly? Because memory is not built by exposure, it is built by use, timing and connections. And when you understand this, you are not just studying, you are designing your brain. You move from being a learner to becoming an architect of your own memory. Thank you.